In terms of a profile of the firm, I guess I should tell you we're at around 10,000 professionals, that we use about 22 different microcomputer technologies, and that we don't have a hell of a lot of problems in integrating 22 different technologies. Now, let me back up, and the reason for that, in 1981 we did a study that took us about 11 months and was summarily let's call it summarized in the Journal of Accountancy. I didn't get a lot of input in the process of the article, but out of it came two terms that have now come, and I feel reasonably flattered at having had some input into the process, to become fairly generic within the technology community, and that is power and casual users. What we found in the 11-month study we did was that we do not have a homogeneous base of users. That we have a group of users that tends to focus themselves more along a line that I will call a power base, and a second set of users that focuses themselves far more along what I'll call a casual base. How does that impact what we do in our technology planning, solutions-driven orientation? Maybe I should share with you a little bit of a definition if we could. Power users rate functionality over ease of use. They tend to use one, maybe two, but more likely one tool. Let me give you an example. Power word processing user wants floating footnotes, a 5 million word dictionary, a screen size about, like bay window, entire document readable in 15-point font, 4 levels of floating indices, automatic grammar checking, and binding and reproduction just prior to printing. Power spreadsheet user wants a matrix something about the size of Texas, 700 built-in financial functions. They also, incidentally, do more than one thing, but they tend to turn or bend the tool to fit the need. Therefore, Lotus 1, 2, 3, which I always have to say in a reasonably reverent sense because somebody told me it's actually being reproduced in the New King James Version of the Bible right after the 23rd Psalm, but he's a power user. Lotus 1, 2, 3 actually makes coffee, hires secretaries, opens doors, and frequently gets used as a word processor by widening the column width to 80 and typing. Power users love 400-page tutorials. You know the guys? They go in the other room and it's a religious experience and they go, oh my God, it sorts. Oh, I love it, love it. Oh, macros. I'm in heaven. They are also the guys that produce a financial forecast that can be run with only one keystroke. They don't worry about relearning a tool because they spend half of their life with it. Okay? They've read the book, they've memorized, they know all of the alternative keystroke command structures, and for them, when F1 through F10 came out, it was honest to God like the 10 Commandments sitting right next to the shift key. Okay? Casual users. They rate ease of use over functionality. If a power user wants the spreadsheet to run fast, the casual user would like the damn thing to just run. And get the right earnings per share. I mean, that's the purpose behind it. The casual user spends 6 hours a day in meetings, 2 hours a day on the phone, and an hour or two in something that might be correlated to technology or assistance with technology. Absolutely refuses to do the 300, 200, 450-page tutorial. Rick, I just don't have time. I got people to meet, clients to serve, kids to grow, personnel reviews to do, budget. I just don't have time to go through this tutorial. Now, here comes the power user, right? I gotta show you 1, 2, 3. Honest to God, it's gonna change your life. Right? Religious overtones are a major part of a power user's vocabulary. Come on over to the house on Saturday. Honest to God, it really is gonna make a difference for you. How about just 4 hours? I'll set it up. We'll just spend the morning. You can go golfing in the afternoon. No problem, honest, just 4 hours. It is really going to make a difference. So I come over to the house, and we go through the whole thing. I'm pretty impressed. I mean, I really am impressed. Fortunately, I have to leave on Sunday to come out to California for a 3.5-day conference, and I get back to the office on Thursday, and I figure maybe I'll use this Lotus thing to do our budget. I mean, we've got a reforecast that's due for the 6 months, and I figure I'll use it. And I pull out the thing, and it says, insert the program disk in drive A. There is no A anywhere. And I have a 50-50 chance. Now I put it in, and I turn the machine on, and nothing happens. And I'm all ready to pick up the phone and call this guy that got me this thing, and all of a sudden it goes, and a green line appears on the screen. All of a sudden it comes up, but I don't get a spreadsheet. I get this Lotus Access System, whatever that is. And I call up my buddy and I say, I need to get into Lotus. He said, well, why don't you just back out to DOS? Hello. He says, just do a Q. I said, okay. I did a Q, and bang, the screen goes blank. There is a little greater than symbol and the cursor that spells the entire world if I only knew what the hell to type. He says, well, just take a directory on the disk and we'll see what's out there. I said, I don't know how to do that. He didn't show me that. He says, type dir. So I typed dir. He says, nothing's happening. He says, did you hit return? I said, no. He said, well, hit return. There is no key that says return on that keyboard. I finally figure out it's a big one that's in the wrong place for my hand. And once I hit it, the world comes going straight by my 700 things. He says, did you find Lotus on there? I said, you've got to be kidding. I'm going to do this by hand. There's just no way. The casual user needs an intuitive interface. The casual user needs something comparable to the telephone. A very simple user interface, 12 buttons, 2 of which we don't even know what the hell to do with. And it doesn't matter. We don't need to know anything about AT&T long lines to use it. We just sit there and do something with it. Casual users do not think of the Macintosh as a computer. It's a Macintosh. And if you listen to the real casual users, they don't refer to it as a computer. It's an appliance. It burns bread like a toaster. Put 2 pieces in and that's what happens. The principal reason they need an intuitive tool is not only don't they do the tutorial, but more importantly, what don't they do? They don't have time to relearn that tool after they're away from it. And when casual users spend 3-5 days out of the office or get other job assignments and come back to the process that they need the technology for assistance, they need a bike. Something they learned how to ride as a kid and could put away in a shed for 20 years and bring back out and get on it and be successful. Now, if the Mac, in fact, well, I should back up and tell you now, if you really want to know how to tell the power and casual user, I'll give you a little conversation. A guy comes up and he says, Bill, what kind of computer you got? I run a PCXT, 640K bytes, 2 360K byte floppy drives. I use the AST 6-pack board with a double RS-232 serial port, I like the Hayes B modem card, but the short one that fits in the short slot. I don't like taking up the extra slots. The heat and pad dissipation is a lot easier that way. I use a monochrome monitor, like a color RGB monitor, because when I run Lotus, I like to be able to see the thing and the graph at the same time. I mean, I've been using 2 or 3 different printing technologies, letter quality printing, standard dot matrix, the Epson MX80. I've been thinking about going on to MX100, but I'm not sure yet. I've been thinking about going to 2 or 3 different disk technologies, but before I do that, I probably bust up to the AT, because I think I really need that additional memory expansion, and that's about where I'm going. John, what kind of computer you got? I got a Mac. He says, yeah, but how much memory has it got? He says, enough. All right, he says, I got these 360 KB disk drives. He says, how big are your floppies? He says, they're about like this. He says, what software do you use? He says, I don't, I write letters. All of us in this room can smile and laugh at that scenario. And there's no more appropriate place for us to have an opportunity to get together than those of us who really are at least intelligent enough that we aren't like the other 80% of the people that handle micros in America and are outright damn ignorant. They don't understand that these people exist in every single organization. And that both of these people need to be met, and not necessarily by the same technology. They need to be met by technology that meets their needs. Power users tend to be moderate and lower levels in an organization. They're doers. They have the guts of a major project to handle, and they want a machine that when they put the disk in, it does nothing but whatever they want to do. And that's just fine. We need people like that to make the rest of the projects we're responsible for successful. We also need people that are casual users, that have a lot more of their workday enveloped in managing and growing others, generating business, communicating, controlling, planning, and doing all the other things that really make us a success. What we found within our company is that we have both power and casual users. We tend to find the power users reporting to casual users. We also tend to find a large base, happen to be called auditors, that are almost all casual. They did not join Arthur Young and Company to run a microcomputer. They came to attest to financial statements. Now, I have to tell you, we're not a CPA firm. We're a value-added information reseller. And the value we add is credibility. Interesting concept. The way it works is through factory automation. The factory for us are a group of 5, 6, 7, 8,000 very bright individuals, all with egos about the size of the data mart, that we have to manage into a creative team to add credibility to financial information. They encompass a broad spectrum of people, from guys right out of school and gals right out of school that have technology in their blood, to partners very concerned about how much capital expenditure we're going to lay out, what's it going to mean, and of course they don't need to get involved with it. And there's something all the way in between in that process. We need some kind of a homogeneizer, something that lets us blend these diverse groups together. And really what my group ought to be called is a bridging group. And really what we're going to do is bridge a lot of things, and we'll be talking about them. Our clients. Whether we like it or not, we live in an IBM world, and certainly Apple has attested to that fact. But I'll tell you this, not all our clients use IBM. They use Sperry and Honeywell and Burroughs and NCR and Hewlett-Packard and Data General and DEC and everything you could imagine. So the last thing Arthur Young is going to be is MS-DOS compatible. The first thing we're going to be is connectable. And so our strategy has been to develop connectability, not compatibility. And that's true for our people, people to people, and people to clients. What we need is our clients' data, not their machines.